Good morning. Sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Savan Mac, the head of fashion and design department of Hong Kong DI. And today is a great honor to have invited the owner of the worldwide recognized international fashion house, Longchamp, all the way coming from Paris to be present at our master lecture. I'm sure most of you here have known this brand or even carrying their bags every day. And Longchamp is a renowned Parisian fashion house since 1984. It has been well established with more than 1,500 selling points of sales in 80 countries. Longchamp has been recognized as Living Heritage Company by the French government, a label that distinguishes companies with excellence, craft, and industrial expertise. We are so grateful to have Mr. Sean Casagran, the president, who is also the third generation of the Longchamp family, and his son, Mr. Adrian Casagran, the CSR Transformation Director, to share their precious experience and insight of fashion industry with our students and lecturers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I can't wait to learn about the legacy of Longchamp as well as the insight on creativity and sustainability in the industry. So let's start our chatting and sharing. Thank you. Sean, Longchamp has been partnering with lots of artists and designers since long time, namely like Jeremy Scott, Shannon Olivers, and many others. Let's review some very popular collaborations Longchamp did the past years. Please.
So yes, we have a long story of doing collaboration with artists. We find that they are very stimulating. The first one we did was in 1972. So it's 50 years ago we already had a collaboration with an artist, even before this was fashionable. So these are a few examples of things we have done. Jeremy Scott, you know, we've met him in 2006 and we've been doing limited editions with him during 10 years. So during 10 years, every season we had a new bag, quite a successful program with him. So Mr. Bag, of course, the Chinese influencer that we made some specific focused on China collaboration with him, especially for Chinese New Year. So the cheese for the Year of the Mouse, for instance, was quite a cute thing. Shane Oliver is an American fashion designer, more like a streetwear designer, and he reinterpreted our pliage bag in a very different and innovative way. That's Shane Oliver collaboration. The T-shirt too, which zooms in on a key feature of the bag, which is the handle and flap combination. Nendo, a Japanese designer, so quite an interesting case too, because they are not a fashion designer, they are a designer of hard object. So it's interesting to see how somebody who's used to design furniture, an object, will interpret a bag. It's quite, it's a different job usually because it's a soft material. It doesn't work, like a more rigid material. And he did this very minimal Japanese-looking version of our pliage bag, which was quite interesting. So in a totally different field, that's our first venture into the metaverse with the Pokemon company. That was back in 2018, I think. We had a series of bags in collaboration with the Pokemon company featuring the beloved Pikachu, and that's an activation in Hong Kong with one of your beautiful old tramways covered with the Longchamp Pokemon collaboration. But the bag, one of the bags that was designed for the collaboration, is also, and is still to this day, available in the Pokemon Go game. So if you're on Pokemon Go, you can get a Longchamp backpack for your avatar. That's the Pokemon Go avatar, yeah. That's with designer, yeah, with Edison Chen, Chinese-American designer, and we did this collaboration with him on the theme of boxing and something, very powerful, let's say. André, a French Parisian artist, he is originally a graffiti artist, and he has this character, Mr. A, that is quite, full of joy, full of energy. I think it's also this illustrates the need to carefully select the collaborations that we do. We cannot, the idea is that the collaboration must have a meaning for the brand and must be connected to the brand somehow. So here I think we have a very good connection with the brand values. So first, André is a Parisian artist. He started his career, doing graffitis in Paris. So he's very deeply Parisian. Second, he loves color, and we love color as well. Our brand is full of color and full of energy. He is also, his character always shows a big smile, and we are a brand that's optimistic and positive. So it's really in line with what we are. Colorful, positive, optimistic, dynamic, Parisian. So I think we had a very, very good fit with this collaboration.
Okay.
And that's a different type of collaboration. It's with not with an artist, it's with a brand. It's actually a French heritage brand, and they do these net bags. They are very popular in France, but they were used by old ladies usually to do their grocery shopping. So we made a new and fresh version of them, which was quite successful. And on the right-hand side, it's with a French manufacturer of linen cloth, also very famous in France. It's a very high-quality product. And from these clothes, we've made a bag as well. So that's a few examples of collaborations that we've had.
Those collections are really innovative and creative. So what's the rationale of a heritage fashion house to do all these collaborations?
I think for us, it's a way to open the windows and let some fresh air coming in. It's very stimulating for our design team to work in collaboration with third-party artists, because many of them, they've never done a handbag. They don't know how a handbag is made. They're very creative people, but they don't know anything about our field. So it's very interesting to see how somebody who is totally fresh and new to the field is going to look at it. So it's very stimulating for the creative team. And also there are people that are quite demanding in terms of execution. So they like things to be perfect, and so it's also stimulating for the artisans. Sometimes for this collaboration, we've had to get into new techniques. So for example, I remember, we didn't show it here, we did a collaboration back in, I think in 2004 with an American artist, Tracy Emin. And maybe you know Tracy Emin's work, and her work, she has in her atelier, she has like boxes of old canvas of every kind, like old curtains, the old skirt of her mother, and she makes art with that. So to do the bags with her, we had to use a technique that now is more common, but at the time it was quite new, which was inkjet printing on canvas. So this collaboration was actually our first step into inkjet printing, and thanks to her, in a way, she pushed us enough so that we had to go out and find a new technique that we have since then integrated in our process and that we fully master now.
I see. Thank you. So how do you see the impact in Longchamp business with these collaborations?
So the impact is several ways. So first, it's a very good marketing tool, because the public, the press, the influencers, all the media, they're always interested in collaboration, especially when they are new, unexpected. So for instance, the collaboration we did with this brand of the net, the filet bags, that's totally unexpected, totally new, and it's very successful because everybody gets very excited about something that's totally out of the box like that. So I think it's, for us, we are a medium-sized brand. We are much smaller than some of the giants of our industry. So it's a way to catch the attention of the public. So that's very useful. And then second, maybe in a more subtle way, again, it's a way to push the boundaries and to open ourselves to new ideas and new horizons in a way that's more difficult to do if it's just our own studio, the same people working within themselves.
Okay. Longchamp is a Parisian heritage fashion house where I have been doing collaboration project with artists and designers all over the world. What were the challenges? How did Longchamp take a balance on its own DNA with their different styles?
So I think a successful collaboration is when the DNA of the artist and the designer and the DNA of the brand match. So when the final product of the collaboration, the final result, reflects both our DNA and the DNA of the artist. So if the Longchamp side is too visible, or the only thing that's visible, or the artist side is the only thing that's visible, it's not working. It must have the final product must combine both identities in an ideal way, and I think that we have succeeded in achieving that in several of the projects.
Okay.
But it requires also, as I mentioned before, that the person that we are collaborating with is in line with our brand values. So, and it's a difficult exercise because at the same time you want the collaboration to be a little bit unexpected, because if it's too expected, it's not fun. So unexpected, but at the end you say, I didn't expect this, but that was a good idea.
Okay. So what are the main criteria of an international fashion house like Longchamp to pick an artist or designers to work with?
It's really the DNA of the artist. So there is also a very personal issue. My sister Sophie is the artistic director. We also need to have a personal fit that works, because we're a family business. We enjoy working with people that we like, people that are easy to work. People that are not too difficult to deal with, because in this world of art sometimes there are some difficult people. So, but you can be a good artist and be a nice person at the same time, and that's maybe a requirement. And all the people that we've worked with, they were all very nice, very supportive, very open-minded. So that's very important. And the second aspect, obviously, is that the values be fully in line.
Okay. So what is suggestions for young design talent in approaching an international fashion house for collaborations?
It's honestly, it's difficult, because any fashion house is going to receive offers, and so I think you have to put yourself in the shoes of the person you're talking to, and try to figure out what is he or she going to be looking for. So I think if you're a young talent, a young artist, so I think maybe that you can put that forward, and also another aspect is that some brand, and it's our case. For instance, we as part of our CSR policy, we also want to continue supporting young talents. So that's maybe an angle that a young person could try to play. Support me, I'm a young talent, but that's not going to be enough. It's also the project itself needs to have some value. We've worked with, very often it's us that approach the artist that we want to work with, but we've been approached by an artist back a few years ago, a young designer, which was still not very known at the same time. His name is Thomas Heatherwick. He's a British designer. Since then, he has a big design and architecture studio. He made some very big and remarkable projects in New York, in the UK, and actually here in Hong Kong, he's the one that did the renovation of Pacific Place. So maybe a mall that you're familiar with that he fully redesigned. So he came to us like about 20 years ago with the idea of a bag. He was a totally unknown designer at that point, and we found the idea was interesting, and we went ahead with it. So I think it's a combination of, having a good idea and selling it in the right way to the brand.
Okay, the coming question is tailor-made for our Hong Kong DI students. After graduations, do you recommend young design talents to have their own labels or get into a fashion brand as an in-house designers? And why?
So honestly, it's very much a personal choice, and I think it's up to you to feel if you're ready or not to go your own way. So if you're not ready, maybe it's good to join a bigger fashion house and to take a few years to mature and to get a better understanding of what you want to express as a designer. If you're ready, go ahead. It's a tough world. No? There are a lot. It's becoming more and more difficult to exist as a brand. You know, to go through, because the bar keeps on raising. But it's possible, and you all know some new talents that have emerged and that have been successful with their companies. There are not many, but there are some. So I think I would fully encourage you to go ahead and set up your own label. But inside you, I think you know if you're ready for it or not.
Is there any plan or programs in Longchamp to nurture young design talents?
So yes, we hire new people in our studio. So and they work with our team. The studio also needs some fresh, talent all the time. Our studio in Paris is not that big, however, it's maybe 10 people. So it's not a huge team, but we have new people on a regular basis. Sometimes we have interns. And we also like to work with talent, maybe for specific project or collaboration. It can be back design, but it can be new talent also for photography, for window design. So there can be. So it's not only the product itself, but we also work with new talent for instance, communication purposes, because nowadays we have to create new images all the time. We have to create strong designs in our stores. We also support some young artists by buying art to display in our stores. That's also where we support young artists.
Okay, thank you, Sean. And now maybe Adrian, we can share a bit something about the sustainability. What do you think sustainability is the global topic? Do you think it is just a trend or a business imperative?
So yes, so I say it's not really a trend. It's first, and then it's not also a business imperative. And at the same time, it is. So what I mean is that it's not a trend because, for example, for Longchamp, we've been doing sustainability for a very, very long time. Since we have our own workshops, we offer the repair of our bags, so it's a possibility, and it's part of our DNA. It's part of what we sell. So for us, it's not only a trend; it's something that we're into. Even if back in the days, we did not call that sustainability. It was like business. But yes, it's something that's here and it's growing. Its importance is much larger than it was only a few years ago. So this is something that we have to deal with. And yes, and a business imperative, I think it would be a bit of a pity to present this subject as a business imperative. It's much more than that. It's a societal issue. And then sustainability means, for a family business, which strives to exist also in many years and hopefully generations. It's something that is very important, and so it's not only about business, it's also once again about what we are as a brand, as a company, as a family company, which pushes us to things several years ahead, not only the budget of the year, the budget of the next year, but we have to we have to keep in mind that the future is built now, and and now this future is built not only with products and shops and whatsoever, it's also built with responsible products. And we want to do business, but not at any cost. We want to do business which is done, accordingly with what we are and what we believe in.
Okay. We know that Longchamp has its own manufacturing plants and launched some products in using recycled material. For example, Le Piage Green, which is an environmental version of signature Le Piage nylon bag. What's your sustainability plan of manufacturing?
So yes, material is a very, very important part of our impact. In fact, in our business, the products are over 3/4 of our impact. So the move to recycled nylon was very important for us. It has not been easy because it's not a showcase, it's an industrial scale. So with everything that comes behind it, we want to do it, but not at any cost. So we had to do some research to offer the same quality as our previous products. So which is of course very important for us. So this is on the material part. Then we also want to organize the production in such way that we can make the best use of our materials. So if we design products that generates less leftovers, if we organize our production so that we know better in advance which quantity we'll need. So maybe for design students it's not the sexiest part, but it's a very important part. We've trained our design studio to better understand what are the stakes, in fact, when you design, so that it's more easy to repair. Its durability, the product durability is also a bit longer because in the end this is a very, very powerful impact. And then in our plans, of course, we also have projects. So we changed, for example, all our light bulbs, all light bulbs to LEDs, so that it consumes less energy. You must know that for now in France and in Europe it's very important because of the energy crisis. But it's not only about money. It's also about being more responsible. In our workshops in France, we have lots of space that is not that is still natural, with plants, trees. We have fruits, we have beehives, we have sheaves, and yes, it's not that important, as an impact over our whole company impact, but I think that it's very important that every employee at the company is associated with what we want to do. Can see with his own eyes that we're trying to build a comprehensive and a comprehensive approach that is not focused just on recycled nylon and that's it, but that really expresses the direction in which we want to go.
Okay. In addition to manufacturing, what are the other areas that Longchamp could contribute to sustainability, think?
Is of course about products, but in the products we talked a bit about material or environmental impact, but there is also the social impact that is very important to us. So this is an example. So the replay is in fact old materials from previous collections that were, a bit leftovers because sometimes we do not have enough quantity to launch like full-scale lines. And then, at some point you end up with many end-of rolls that, of course, you want to not to throw away, but that you want to use. And this is exactly what we did. So we designed some new models to be able to use some end-of-rolls fabric and give a new life to them.
If I may, because this is the title of the conference, Creativity and Sustainability. This is where creativity and sustainability meet, because the challenge given to the design team is that we have this pile of old material here. Find a good way to make something interesting with it. It's like the chef that opens the fridge and sees all kind of ingredients, and then his challenge is to do the best possible dish with whatever is available and use it all the way to the last thing. So creativity is not the enemy of sustainability. On the contrary, because as Adrien said, sometimes we give constraint to the design team. And I think as designer or aspiring designers, I think you understand what I'm saying if I say that sometimes it's stimulating to work under constraint. Sometimes it's a nice challenge for a designer to be guided and to have some narrow guidelines because it stimulates the thinking a little bit more sometimes than when you have a fully blank page.
I see. Okay. So, any challenges that you have experienced while you developed the ideas of sustainability so far?
Yes, of course, it's challenging, because it's a different way of thinking. But the challenge also is a good way for us to keep improving ourselves. I already said that the recycled nylon was a challenge because of the quality issue that we wanted to keep at the same level. Replay is a challenge because you don't have you can't choose exactly the color that you want. You have to use the one that is already here, and yes, and then the challenges are also. So I talked a bit about that. If you want to have products that are easy to repair, it's a challenge. So at each step, and also like for normal materials, I talked a bit about the social responsibility that we have. It means that at some point you cannot just buy whatever material you want. You want to pay attention to who you're doing business with. So this is also a bit of a constraint. You cannot decide, okay, I'll go there without any second thought because you want to pay attention with who you're working with. And so at Longchamp, we've been very happily with our suppliers in business for a very long time. So I think that the average duration for now of our relationship is 14 years. So which is quite long for us. And we have, of course, to find a balance between existing partners who have their own business, their own abilities that we want to work with them to develop, and also bringing in new partners to help with the brand development. And for example, the printing of our fabric that we develop for Tracy, this is something. So this is a challenge, and sometimes it's not only about CSR. Sometimes it's a bit of both, and yes, we always have to challenge ourselves to develop new stuff.
May I? One challenge also may be the acceptability by the public of the policies. And there is a question maybe I would like to ask the room. We in Europe now, all of our store turns the light off entirely at 10 p.m. So are you ready for this in Hong Kong? So what, our store on Canton Road, should we be turning the light off at 10 p.m.? What do you think? We also have stopped distributing plastic water bottle. No more plastic bottle. Here you have, everywhere you go, you have one of these. So now they are no longer available in our stores in Europe. We just give you a glass of tap water. So do you think this kind of policies, for instance, the Hong Kong public is ready for it or not?
I think we are slowly open for that.
Okay, it's coming.
Yeah.
Well, actually, thanks to Hong Kong, we've made some interesting move on our paper bags. Because like maybe already 3-4 years ago, Hong Kong introduced a regulation about the paper bags needing to be recyclable. So we had to modify the content of our paper bag to make them fully recyclable, which they are now.
Okay. Actually, we Hkdi also do a lot of strategies about the sustainability. Let us share with you after our sharing here. Okay, so Sean, what are the possible challenges of running an own label, you think? How do you overcome these challenges you ever met?
It's a huge challenge. So we've been, my sister is a member of a jury that gives a prize in Paris to new fashion designer. It's called the Andam. So there is every year a new young up-and-coming designer that gets the prize. And sometimes she has been also the mentor of this person for the following year. So the experience is that it's not only about having a good idea. I think, of course, having good ideas and having a concept, having a story to tell, that's the starting point. Because if you have no story to tell, then the world does not need your product. But then there are all kinds of commercial and economic challenges that come up very quickly. How to produce the collection, where to produce it, find a good partner, finance everything. But it's possible. Like, well, last month, Adrien and I, we've met a young, up-and-coming French leather good brand. So I think he started about 4 or 5 years ago. His name, if you want to look him up online, is called Valet de Pique. It's a Parisian brand, and he has found a concept that is quite interesting. He has a brand identity that is quite interesting. And with like some friend and family money, he's been able to start up, and it's becoming, the brand starts to have a little bit of visibility in Paris. It's starting, but I think he's making enough money to sustain the company and to continue growing the company. So it's a case that shows that it's possible, but don't forget about the business elements of it. And actually, this person was not even trained as a designer. So design is only one part of the equation.
Okay. And Adrian, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that it's also more like a marathon kind of race. Yes, I think that most of the one that we encounter, they've been in the business for several years. It takes really a long time to build a brand and to develop something, and so it's a long-term effort.
So you are as a CSR and transformation director. How do you bring and imply your new ideas into a 75-year-old heritage fashion house?
It's not easy. No, of course it's not easy, but I think that I'm very lucky to be here at Longchamp, which is a brand that has a long-lasting history for turning ourselves in something that is different, and also for CSR-related topics. So we started as a very little tobacco shop in Paris, and so obviously now the business has dramatically changed. So we first started first leather goods, tobacco products related leather goods for men only, then different leather goods for men, then leather goods for women, and afterwards we also developed ready-to-wear collections. So I think that We are a brand that has in its DNA the idea of change. So this is the first part, and then the second part is that we are a family business. We are very much attached to how we treat people. So how we treat our customers, of course, but also how we treat our employees, how we treat everyone that depends on us, because of course they are not only our employees, but we have many partners in many different places around the world that partly at least depend on us. So this is something that we also have in our DNA, and that helps us to go in this way to improve ourselves on CSR aspects. And then so there's still obviously a job to do, but it's really more to be able to nurture what we already are, so that we keep challenging ourselves to develop new ideas and to do business in a better way.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. So we're glad to see that Sean and Adrian have brought a very special collection here to share with us. And please, it's just a special reminder to all the audience here, because this collection will be launched in early January. This is supposed not to be open to public before January. So please do not take pictures or video shooting on the upcoming preview collection. We are the first group to see this collection in Asia, so we are so grateful to this. Thank you. Yeah, it's really exclusive for us. Thank you. And before Sean introducing this collection, let's see the campaign videos, which I like it very much.
Digère. Continue straight. Take the next exit. Turn left. Turn right. Next destination, Longchamp.
Thank you. So Stéphanie Deger is a Belgian designer. And so we asked her to interpret the pliage bag in the context of urban mobility and the new types of mobility. For those of you who have been to Paris before COVID, if you go back to Paris, you will see that one thing has changed a lot. There are bicycles everywhere. So bicycle riding is very popular. It's like Beijing 1985 in terms of how many bicycles you have in the street. So for this person, so for the Parisian woman who likes to ride her bicycle, even if it's raining, and by always, and she's Parisian, so she still wants to remain elegant when she's riding her bicycle in the rain. So we asked her to come up with a design idea for that. So it's inspired by pliage. So it's the material of pliage, it's the codes, the design codes of the pliage, but interpreted by her with some, these silhouettes and also some new bags that are quite, tricky and clever, because you can also wear it as a backpack when you're riding, and this one here unfolds, and so it's clever, it's playful, it's joyful, as you have seen from the video. So it's very Longchamp in the spirit. So I think here we have again a good match between the DNA of the designer and the DNA of the brand. So we're looking forward to launching this next month.
Okay. I'm thrilled to have a preview of this collection. Looking forward to seeing its launch on January. So Sean and Adrian, thank you very much for your sharing and showing the upcoming collaborations with us. And I guess some audience here may also have some questions. Please raise up your hands or we shall pass the mic to you if you have questions. Let's see.
Hi, this is Kenyan. I really like the collaboration of Lee Pliage. Lee Plage first. But beside the Lee Plage first, what is your favorite designs of Longchamp?
Okay, yes. Well, it's like you're asking me to pick up who is my favorite child, so it's difficult. There is a bag that I like a lot in the collection. We don't have images, but maybe you can look it up on the internet. It's called the Epure bag. Epure is a new bag that we launched about 1 month ago. And what I like about it is that it very well reflects the brand DNA. Insofar, it's colorful, it's simple but very nicely proportioned, very elegant, it embodies the clean, pure Longchamp look with no bells and whistles, quite total purity, but perfect in the proportion and the overall aspect of it. It's very unique and original and simple at the same time. So I like this one very much. The Epure bag on our website.
Any else questions?
Hello, this is Carlos. Thank you, Sean and Ingrid, for your sharing. I find your sharing really insightful, and it's always good to hear from top management of fashion house. As you mentioned, the handbag category is really competitive. There are a lot of competitors in your market. So, what would you say is the uniqueness of Longchamp in the market?
So the uniqueness is, can be traced back to our DNA. So I think, first of all, being a manufacturer, it doesn't look very sexy to say that, but being a manufacturer nowadays is kind of unique because you can go up and down Canton Road or some of the big shopping malls of the city. There are bags everywhere. Bags are like every other shop is selling bags, but very few of them are actually manufactured. So being a manufacturer, in my opinion, it gives a strength to the product, it gives an integrity to the product that I think at the end the public perceives. So I think that's one element. In terms of design, it's really the design is based on the look of the Parisian woman. So the Parisian woman is really the person we're designing for, even though we're happy to sell to Hong Kongese girls as well. But the products, they are designed with the Parisian woman in mind, and it's specific take on what it means to be elegant. So the Parisian woman is non-assuming. She's effortless. She doesn't want, she takes great pain to find the best outfit for the day, but this must not show that she made a lot of effort for it. It should look like she just picked up 3 things from the closet and that's it, she's perfect. So that's, the Parisian woman, I think, is also part of our DNA. Then I would say also color. I think we are very strong on color. Our stores are colorful. Our product is colorful. And maybe another idea is simplicity. So we are not products that are over-designed with too many details, too many embellishment, and so we like something that is simple, neat, original, strong, but strong, but not in an artificial way. So we like to be very authentic.
Any question?
Hello, thank you very much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it, and as a designer or brand, we know that we have a lot of competitors and competitions in daily life. So I would like to ask how Longchamp overcome its competitors.
That's it's a big question. So we're in we are in a world that is, as you said, quite complicated with some very heavyweight competitors. So the first thing we had to do is to become fully international, because we have seen a lot of competitors and a lot of brands that were based only on one market. And today, honestly, I don't think it's sustainable anymore for a brand to operate on only one market, except maybe if your market is a very large market like the US or China, and if you're domestic, you can be a domestic brand in China and very successful, and you can be a domestic brand in America and be very successful, but that's probably the only two markets where it's possible, because otherwise, to exist as a brand, you need to do so many things. The public expects so many things from a brand, from CSR to brand ambassadors, to flagship stores, to new collections, to collaboration. All that, you need money to finance it, and the money, it comes from your turnover, and so you cannot base your business on a single market. So I think being international was one element, but it's not enough. We are still facing people that are more international and even bigger than us. So we need to think a little bit differently. We need to think outside of the box, because we are probably 15 or 20 times smaller than Vuitton, for instance. So if I try to do the same thing as Vuitton, I'm not going to be able to match them, because the money I'm going to put behind every project is going to be 20 times less each time. So we must find a different angle. So for instance, I think Le Pliage is a quite interesting product, because it's a product that's unique, that does not compare with any brand, that has its own identity, and that, and we can sell pliage bag to Vuitton customers or Chanel customers, and so that's a way to go around the issue of facing directly these brands. The collaborations also are interesting, because maybe, even though these brands, they sometimes do collaboration, but maybe we can do it in a more nimble and agile way, and being a little bit more creative about it. So we definitely need to be thinking out of the box.
Once again, I'm so grateful to have both of you visiting Hong Kong DI. In fact, I just knew something yesterday that even not in my script yet. Actually, it's the second time Longchamp has done a master lecture with the students after the University of Cambridge. So with Hong Kong DI is the second one. We're the first one in Asia. We're so honored. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. And
thank you.
I've seen that we have a few customers in the room, so thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your support. Please continue. And we wish you all the best. And I hope you enjoy the lecture and the Design Institute. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Before ending the sessions, we would like to present you a souvenirs of Hong Kong DI. Please, our academic directors, Aditya Lam.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming, and hope you enjoyed the chat and the sharing, and have a great day. Goodbye. Thank you.